Now it's time for zonk. Zonk. Now it's time for
hot dog code to the gentrified east side. Past the place used to have all ages punk rock shows. Now it's the Capoeira studio. Past the vape shop. There used to be a cafe. Before that, it was a different vape shop. I like the hot dog code because money talks. Hot dogs walk. Venables, commercial, Charles, William, Parker. It's all one person. Charles, William, Parker, Gravely, Kitchener. I like the hot dog code. Little Italy. Not little enough. There's a pharmacy with a painting on one wall. There's Bill Hicks in a red convertible running over the coyote from Roadrunner cartoons. I think about that painting a lot, how it got into the pharmacy, how it stayed there, 3 different owners, under new management. They got to keep the Bill Hicks painting. Look at the hot dog code. Past the bistro, there used to be a sandwich shop. Past the number 1 falafel place. Past the number 2 falafel place. Sunrise Pizza. Sunrise Pizza forever. I like the hot dog code in the opposite direction from the food co-op. How about coffee, apricots? Co-op brand cola. It's cold. Paco Ignacio Taibo used to say that sugar is better than caffeine for writing. He's written a lot of books. I assume he knows what he's talking about. Vintage stores, German Bakehouse, Vancouver Donair. Fried chicken. They kept the sign up from the vegetarian place that had been there before. Me? I like the hot dog code. One corner to another. Sunshine, rain, occasional snowdrift. I don't mind. I never mind a good walk. Jerome Charon's books should not be compared to other books. They're more like Royal Trucks or Velvet Underground. They're like nothing else. They're aberrations that change the way you look at anything that even comes close. They're dark, and they draw on and add to the myths of New York City. Charon's pulpy cop opera follows the unlikely career arc of Isaac Seidel, a honcho in the first deputy police commissioner's office in 1974's Blue Eyes, who was eventually elected vice president of the United States by the end of 1999's Citizen Seidel, the 10th book in the series. More recently, 2 new volumes in the series have come out. Under the Eye of God, published in 2012, which takes place mainly over the months between the election and the inauguration, and then Winter Warning, which came out last year. The places I first saw Charon's name mentioned, once I knew to look for it, in the works of other writers. Michael Chabon, whose Yiddish Policemen's Union takes its title from the Hands of Esau, a fraternal order of Jewish cops that previously existed only in the Urzi Isaac books. Canada's first poet laureate, George Bowering, whose appreciation of the later Isaac books I learned via a photographer's blog. Don DeLillo speaks highly of him. Gore Vidal quotes Charon in a key passage of his New York Times appreciation of the novelist James Purdy. My all-time #1 favorite writer of detective novels, Paco Ignacio Taibo II, dedicated my all-time #1 favorite detective story, Leonardo's Bicycle, to the vampire of Manhattan, Paris. And if it's true, though, if the only people who've read Charon are these literary world beaters, how do we account for the fact that you can find Charon's cop novels in all the good used bookstores in Vancouver and Burnaby? Surely, they can't all be discards from Bowering. My introduction to Charon and Isaac, 1990's The Good Policeman, the 5th book in the series. First, since 1978's Secret Isaac. I found it 8 years ago on the shelf of a hole-in-the-wall used bookstore in Vancouver's downtown east side, around the corner from the Hastings Street Detox Center, where I work 3 days a week. It features, as all of the mysterious press editions of Charon's novels do, striking cover illustration by Bascove, the same woman who did the covers for the Robertson Davies books my parents read when I was a kid. I was heavily into police procedurals at the time. Ian Rankin's Rebus books, Richard Price's Dempsey novels, and Madge Sealwall and Per Wallou's Martin Beck series, especially those books. The Good Policeman, despite its title, is nothing like those books. In the first 2 pages of Chapter 1, we meet Isaac Seidel, by this point police commissioner of New York City, on a public speaking tour in St. Louis as the first ever Alexander Hamilton Fellow for the Justice Department. Quote, he belonged in the funny papers with Dick Tracy. But Dick Tracy didn't carry a bottle of milk in his coat like Isaac did. He had a tapeworm, and when it got hungry and mashed his insides, he fed it with a swallow of milk. Isaac does belong in the funny papers. He's an impossibly hard-boiled, outsized character facing down a city of mutants. His ridiculous climb from honcho to Veep is made believable only by the power of Charon's prose. Throughout the series, Charon provides dozens of these memorable epigrams describing Isaac's many peculiarities. One of my favorites is from Marilyn the Wild, second book in the series, which says, he had a passion for fire escapes, and he hated climbing stairs.
Now it's time for Zonk.